Level 1. You notice the van first. Parked too long under the sodium streetlight. No logos, no plates, just a dark rectangle humming with a restless engine. You slow your step. The neighborhood is census quiet. Painted porches, sleeping dogs, wind that sounds like paper, but the van feels wrong. A small voice in your chest says, "Look." You cross the street on impulse. A sliding door breathes metal. A man steps out like he belongs to other streets. He moves with the practiced calm of someone who knows he's invisible. You pretend to scroll your phone. Your thumb trembles. He flicks a cigarette into the gutter. A second figure appears from a shadowed driveway. They exchange a small, slick package. No words, just hands, and the hush of things done quietly. You back away. You tell yourself ignorance is safety. You keep walking. Your pulse beats like a warning in your throat. You go home, but you do not sleep. You replay the exchange until dawn sketches the blinds. You decide to look again. This is the first step you cannot unreel. Your neighborhood has become a question, and questions have edges. Level 2. You become a collector of tiny facts. A license plate fragment. A dog that barks at the van every night. A woman who takes the long route home when it idles outside her street. You memorize routines like a map. They map to a pattern. The van appears at 1:12 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It idles near the old laundromat. Someone inside watches the corner like a hawk. You start timing things. You learn the rhythm of neighbors who sleep and neighbors who don't. A kid you know from the bus stop mentions an unfamiliar man near the park. An elderly man says he noticed unfamiliar foot traffic the last month. You collect names without meaning to. Your notes look like a conspiracy board. Red string without pins. You drift closer to danger because curiosity tastes like gravity. You meet the laundromat owner under the hum of fluorescent lights. He shrugs and says business is down. He looks tired in a way that suggests secrets. You decide to become more than a witness. You will listen. You will wait. Level 3. You stake out the corner. Dawn is still clinging to the city. Your breath fogs your phone screen. You hide behind an evergreen like a reluctant soldier. The van arrives like clockwork. This time there are 3 people. They move like choreography. They unload boxes into an alley bin. No, not garbage. Boxes wrapped in brown paper and tape. You record with your phone. Hands that do not want to shake. One of them lifts his head. For one suspended heartbeat, your eyes meet his. He smiles the way people smile when they know someone else has seen but cannot prove. You duck down. Your heart trades places with your stomach. You decide to follow. You tail them at a distance that feels like threading a needle. They step through a wrought gate you had never noticed before. A basement door opens beneath a row of unassuming townhomes. A smell like oil and citrus, and something metallic rises. The sound is a staccato of voices. You press your ear to a cold brick. Someone whispers numbers. Someone else answers with a laugh like a hinge. Your phone buzzes. A message from an unknown number. Be careful. The world narrows to the shape of your next choice. You choose to push the gate further open. Level 4. The basement is not anonymous. It is organized. Shelves like a library of illicit trade. Boxes labeled for drop-offs. Phones on charging cradles. A folding table with maps thumbtacked and circled. Not maps of this block. Maps of supply routes. Papers with names. A ledger that feels like a spine of sin. You crouch behind a stack of empty crates. A man with a soft voice says, "Newcomers are costly." Another laughs, "We keep it local." You learn what local means. You learn how they move money with smiles and receipts that mean nothing. A woman in the corner packs small sachets into a sleeve. Each one folds like a secret. You film everything. The flash of your phone is a tiny moon. You consider running. A hand clamps your shoulder. Your stomach flips like a trapped bird. A voice says, looking down on you with curiosity, "You look like you have a question." You meet his gaze. This is not a gaze that offers mercy. You realize you are in a room that trades in people who cross lines and never look back. You have crossed. You breathe. You decide to speak. Your voice is thinner than you'd like. You ask why. Silence answers like a drum. Level 5. They test you. A slow, deliberate interrogation that wears like water. They ask who sent you. They ask what you saw. You tell small, honest lies. You say you were lost. You say you were looking for a friend's house. They laugh, but it is patient. They offer tea like an olive branch. You accept because fear is a cold that demands warmth. In that warmth, you learn names, not just nicknames, but roles. The man who oversees shipments, the woman who coordinates routes, the quiet kid who handles the ledger. They are different shades of the same machine. They are ordinary and monstrous at once. They say things that should have made you leave. They say it with a casualness that is worse than cruelty. We keep the streets clean, one way or another. We control the argument before it starts. We are necessary, they tell you. You hate the idea of necessity. You hate how familiar they make it sound. You think of your neighbor's porch light. You think of the dog that barks. You think of all the small kindnesses that must now be accounted for. You slip your memory into your pocket like contraband. You leave with their attention tucked behind your shoulder, and you carry a ledger of your own. Level 6. You go to the police. You walk into the precinct with your videos like a confession. The officer takes them with a face that learns to measure hope. He says, "We will take a look." Days stretch. You watch the neighborhood through a new lens. Eyes that once trusted now catalog. You hand out flyers like prayers. You knock on doors and deliver questions wrapped in concern. Some close quickly, some open with weary bravery. An old woman clutches your arm. She tells you about packages she thought she saw. A teenager admits to seeing late visitors but swears he never noticed faces. You feel the weight of collective silence. You file reports. You sit in city rooms where people use polite words for danger. You see how bureaucracy moves like glacier water, slow, inevitable. Then a call interrupts the tedium. A warrant is being drafted. Your footage matters. They will move tonight. Your breath becomes a drum roll. You drive back to the block like you're heading to a stage. Level 7. Police lights paint the houses in halting blue. Neighbors crowd the sidewalk. The van that once ruled the night is boxed in. Officers move in lines. You stand on your stoop, suddenly fragile like glass. They execute the search. Boxes are opened. Ledgers are photographed. Hands are cuffed. The man who smiled at you earlier looks tired. Not for the first time, you feel the moral unevenness of victory. People will say, "You are brave." It hurts to hear it. You only did what your stubbornness would let you do. But bravery has ripple effects. Neighbors exchange shy conversations. The laundromat owner lights up like a shop window. The kid from the bus stop walks past with his head higher. You watch the officers carry evidence to the vans. The basement door is shuttered. Still, the world is not suddenly safe. You know rings are like weeds. Cut one, another may grow. But tonight, the street feels a shade straighter. You walk the block later. The van is gone. The sodium light hums a little less anxiously. You touch the cold handles of your own front door. You think about how close you came to being swallowed by silence. You think about the way small observances become acts. You think quietly of the people who stayed silent for fear. You decide to keep watching. Because knowledge is not merely power, it is responsibility. And your neighborhood is your mirror. You will not look away again. You walk inside. The house exhales around you. Outside, the street keeps its slow, steady breathing. Some things are mended tonight. Other things will need tending. You turn the lock. The night keeps its promises. It remembers what happened. You sleep finally, but not unguarded. You wake with the sense that one small witness can shift a weight. And you understand, safety is not a given. It is a thing you make, sentence by sentence, step by step, night by night.